This is Mr. V again. This is lesson 13 part 2. Earlier we made 4 part files. Now we're going to do something new. We're going to open an assembly file. So go to new, and here you have your part files. It's always in.ipt. Now we're going to do a standard in.iam, which is inventor assembly is what that means. So click that, create. It's going to look different for you. Okay. Yours may say place from content center. At the beginning, and if it does, you don't want that, so you need to change it to just say place. Okay, and it's going to bring up, hopefully you've saved everything in that correct folder like I've asked you to do throughout class. Okay, so it brings up all your files. You can see I've got multiple files of everything I've done for you all when making these lessons and things like that. The first thing we want is the assembly plate. Okay, make sure it has the 3 spaces in it. One should be a square, one should be a circle, one should be a triangle. Hit that and open that, and it's going to look really big. Click it one time, it places it. Then you have another one. You only need one of these, so right click and check the green check that says OK. So now you have your plate that you've made. Okay, this is going to be the basis for our assembly file. If you click and hold, it will move around. Okay, that makes it tough when we do constraints, so we don't want that. So what we're going to do, click on the figure, right click, and where it says grounded, click that. And what that does, it makes it stay. You can click and hold now, it doesn't move. Right click, you can check and see that it's grounded. Make sure you do that before you place any more files. Okay, we're going to go and we're going to work left to right here. So the first thing we want to place is the square. Okay, should be 2 by 2 square. I think we extruded it 3 inches, maybe 4. Hit open, put that in there. You only want one, so again, right click and OK. You can move this around and go anywhere. Our goal in this video, we're going to put the square peg, I'm going to call it, in this hole. And the way we do that is by constraining it. Okay, with a rectangle you have to, or a rectangular prism is what this would be called, you have to constrain at least 2 sides. Okay, just for extra practice we're going to do all 4 so that you're familiar with that, and when you do your playground later you'll make multiple part files and then do an assembly and have to do constraints as well. So click on constrain. You want to mate, and you want to keep it a mate. You don't want it flush because we want this to move still. Okay, now this is where it gets very difficult here, so you have to maybe even make a little list and check it off as you do it. You're going to be moving things around a lot. You're going to use the trackball to zoom in a lot and things like that. The first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to constrain the top of this. So I click that. See how the arrow's pointing up? Now you've got to move your mouse because I want to see not this line, but I want to see the top face there. So I'm going to grab and hold my cube and I can move it, and then I want that, so I'm going to zoom in with my trackball. I'm going to click that. Should hear a little popping sound. Hit apply and close that. So now watch, it moves around a little bit, which is good. So the top is constrained here. Okay. The next thing I want to constrain is this side. Let me move this. This side right here to this side. And again, you've got to be good moving this view cube around, and also you can zoom in and out. It makes it much, much easier. Again, you hear that pop. And now it's staying in there. Okay, but just for practice, I want to constrain these other sides because when you do more difficult files, you need to do it each way. So click on this side, and we know it's going to be stuck to here. Hit apply, and let's see, it still goes up and down through there. We're also going to do, we've done the top, we need to do the bottom. Constrain this face. And sometimes you got to be real careful to this face and hit apply. Okay, so now my square prism, or rectangular prism, is going in there. It won't move anywhere else, which is what we want. If this was a pegboard toy, you'd use a little hammer, knock this down. Okay, you probably did that as a little kid. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert the cylinder. So we're going to place that. And I'll be honest with you, this is much, much easier. It's only one constraint. Okay, place one, right click and hit OK. You don't need two of those in there. We're going to do a constraint again. Okay, this time you don't want this face, because with cylinders you can do inserts. You want the whole cylinder. It should have the red dashed line passing through the center of it. Okay, click that, and then you want to represent the same thing here. Okay, the red dashed line, hit apply, or click it, you'll hear the popping sound, hit apply, and then now that's going in there. Oops. Okay, so it stays in there. My square still does the same thing. Okay. The last thing I'm going to do is do my the triangle and put it in there. Okay. If you were going to assemble a table or anything like that, you could draw the tabletop, make the legs, one leg file, and go in and insert those. So assembly files are very, very useful. The next thing I want to do is place my triangle. It was a 2-inch equilateral triangle. Each side's 2 inches. Okay. So again, we're going to constrain. I'm going to start on the bottom. So bottom, move this around. Grab your view cube and move it where you can see. Let me zoom out there. Okay, it's in there right now. Let's see what happens. But it can go left to right, right to left, up and down. So just the bottom's constrained. It's not flipping over. So there's a little bit more work to do. We're going to constrain this side. And again, grab your view cube. That's going to be tough. Okay. This side. This is the toughest part about it. Okay. To that side, hit apply. So I've done the bottom and this side, and it should stay in there, but just for extra practice, let's go ahead and do one more constraint. Okay. The left side to the left side, hit apply, and we should be done. Okay. And now this is your finished file. If you try to do one constraint, if you try to repeat it, it won't let you do that. It'll pop something up and say, cannot apply this constraint, edit relationship. If that happens, just raise your hand and usually we just back it up and undo and start over kind of on your constraints. But as you can see, as you move these part files, they all stay there. Okay, so this is what's called an assembly file. There's some people that are really creative with Inventor, engineers, college students, even middle and high school students. I've showed you the mini train. That's one of them. When your playground, you're going to do some assembly files and then kind of just practicing on your own. When you get some time after you finish your lessons, it'd be a good idea. Find something at the house or think about it and make an assembly file. Okay, it's really good practice. Probably the best, toughest thing to do, but it's really practical and really useful. Okay, and it'll help you in the future if you plan on staying in the PLTW classes. So this is it for lesson 13. I want you to do a file save as. Okay, make it Mr. V lesson 13 assembly and save.